All right, let's jump into another deep dive. Today we're looking at ChatGPT and the industrial world.
Ooh, very cool.
We've got this blog post just came out yesterday, October 31st, 2024,
Oh, wow.
by Steves Jr. The title is O Impacto do ChatGPT no Planejamento da Produção Industrial.
Okay.
That's the impact of ChatGPT on industrial production planning if you don't speak Portuguese.
Gotcha.
And basically, Steves Jr. is saying ChatGPT is changing the way industries plan production. Like, it's some super smart assistant for factories.
Yeah, it's really interesting how ChatGPT uses natural language processing, or NLP.
NLP, okay.
It's artificial intelligence focused on helping computers understand, and process human language. So basically, you just chat with it,
Okay.
like you would with a human expert. Ask questions, get answers from tons of data.
So it's not just like spitting out numbers, it's like actually understand what we're asking and going through all that data to find the important stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And one area where this is really changing things is demand forecasting.
Demand forecasting.
But try to predict how much of a product you'll need to make in the next few months.
Right.
That used to mean complex spreadsheets, tons of statistical analysis.
Yeah, a real headache.
Even for experienced production planner.
Even then, you can make a mistake.
Oh, for sure. Miss some little detail.
Totally.
But that's where ChatGPT comes in.
Okay.
You could ask it, what are the demand trends for the next quarter based on previous sales, and current market conditions? It can analyze huge amounts of data, see patterns we might miss,
Wow.
and make forecasts way faster than we can.
So instead of me spending like hours hunched over a spreadsheet, I can just be like, ChatGPT, tell me what to expect.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's amazing.
But it goes beyond just predicting demand.
Oh, okay.
It can help you figure out what to do with that information, too. Think about those problems every factory faces, like bottlenecks.
Bottleneck.
Those are like traffic jams in production. And then surplus issues, when you make too much of something.
Right, right. So it's not just knowing how much to make, but like when to make it.
Yeah, exactly. Like how to make it to avoid those
And
problems.
avoid those problems.
Exactly.
Okay.
And as Steves Jr. gives a great example in the post, he says you could ask ChatGPT, how might seasonal variations, impact production in the coming months?
Okay, interesting.
And that can give you a heads up about potential bottlenecks or surplus issues before they even happen.
It's like a crystal ball for problems.
Yeah.
Okay, so it can see problems coming. But how does this actually help with decision-making in a factory?
Well, it's not just warnings. Imagine you're a production manager. You have a tough choice,
Okay.
like whether to increase production next month, maybe because there's a surge in demand coming.
Okay, yeah.
You could ask ChatGPT, what would happen if we increase production by 20% next month?
And it'll tell me yes or no.
No, not quite.
Okay.
It can run simulations, analyze tons of factors,
Okay.
like your resources, your materials, even employee schedules, to give you a really clear picture of like what could happen if you make that decision.
So it's like an AI advisor.
Yeah.
That helps you weigh the pros and cons.
Exactly.
It sounds a lot less stressful than trying to figure it out on my own.
Oh, absolutely. And this kind of data-driven decision-making, that used to be only for huge companies, with lots of resources.
Yeah.
But with ChatGPT, even smaller businesses can make these decisions with confidence.
That's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
So we talked about demand forecasting. We talked about better decision making. I bet ChatGPT can do even more, right? I mean, we're just scratching the surface here.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And, for a factory to run smoothly, it's not just about making the right amount of stuff. It's also about communication.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine a production line where nobody's talking to each other. Everyone's in their own little world.
Oh, that's bad news.
Total disaster. Missed deadlines, wrong orders, so much frustration. Steve Jr. talks about how ChatGPT can streamline communication in factories,
Okay.
like all those routine reports and updates.
Right, right.
ChatGPT can automate those. It can create clear summaries of production progress, inventory levels, all of that.
So instead of me sending a million emails or trying to like track someone down for information, I can just ask ChatGPT.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could say, hey, give me a summary of the current production for the sales team.
Give me a summary.
And ChatGPT will give you a nice, easy to understand report that everyone can see.
No more trying to figure out confusing spreadsheets.
No more of that.
Okay, that would save a lot of time and headaches.
Absolutely. And when you're not wasting time chasing information, you can focus on what matters.
Yeah, making great products.
Exactly. Exactly. But communication isn't the only place where ChatGPT can help.
Okay.
I bet you can guess what I'm going to say.
You're going to tell me about all the boring tasks it can automate.
You know it. Let's be honest. No one loves updating inventory reports or monitoring performance indicators or like double-checking every detail in a document.
No, nobody likes doing that.
But those things have to be done.
Yeah, they're important.
They are. And that's where ChatGPT comes in. You just tell it, update the inventory report with the new stock data.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Or generate a report comparing this month's output to last month's. And it does it instantly.
And then that frees people up to focus on other things.
Yeah, more strategic tasks.
This is really cool. Imagine a factory where everyone can focus on the creative, interesting parts of their jobs, and ChatGPT just takes care of all the boring stuff.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yeah. By taking care of the routine stuff, it frees up humans to do what we do best. Problem solve, innovate, and collaborate.
This is so fascinating. We covered so much already, but I feel like there's even more to say about what ChatGPT can do in a factory.
Oh.
What else does this Steves Jr. have to say about the future of this technology?
Well, he says we're just seeing the beginning of what ChatGPT can do. And there's one area in particular where its impact could be like really groundbreaking.
Okay.
But I think we should say that for later.
Oh, okay. You've got me hooked. We'll have to come back to that.
We will. Hashtag TTS, the deep dive episode, 2024-1031, part 2 of 3.
Okay, so what's this groundbreaking thing ChatGPT can do that you were talking about? As Steves Jr. said, we're just at the beginning. What else is there?
Well, remember how we talked about ChatGPT seeing those production bottlenecks?
Yeah, like a crystal ball.
Right. Helping factories avoid problems? Well, imagine that, but for the machines themselves.
Right.
Predictive maintenance. It's going to be huge.
Okay, predictive maintenance.
Yeah, using ChatGPT to look at the data from sensors on all the equipment.
Like temperature, vibration, all that.
Exactly. And it can spot those tiny warning signs that a machine's about to break down.
So instead of waiting till it breaks, you could just like do some maintenance ahead of time.
Exactly. No more downtime, no more rushing to find parts, just keeping everything running smoothly.
That would be amazing. Think about like there's huge factories where even a few hours offline costs a fortune.
Oh yeah, totally. And it gets better. ChatGPT doesn't just predict failures, it can help you optimize the whole maintenance process.
Optimize.
You got deadlines, you need the right parts ready, and then you got to coordinate all the technicians.
Oh, yeah, that's a lot to juggle. So how does ChatGPT help with that?
It can look at all those factors, analyze historical data, then suggest the most efficient schedule possible. It might even see patterns that we humans would miss, lead to even better strategies over time.
Wow. Okay, so it's like the factory's a well-oiled machine, literally, and ChatGPT is the conductor keeping everything in sync.
Yeah, I like that analogy.
But what about the people? We're talking about a lot of automation here.
That's really important. ChatGPT is a tool, an incredibly powerful one, but it's not about replacing us. It's about empowering us.
Empowering us. Okay.
To work smarter, more effectively.
So how does it do that in a factory?
Think about the things humans are great at. Problem solving, creativity, critical thinking. AI isn't there yet.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So ChatGPT can handle the boring stuff, the repetitive tasks, and that frees us up to focus on those higher level skills.
So not human versus machine, but human plus machine.
Exactly, like a team. Steves Jr. actually mentions that in the post. He says ChatGPT can even help optimize the workforce itself.
The workforce, okay.
Imagine a manager trying to figure out who to assign to what task. ChatGPT could analyze data on their performance, their skills, even personality, and suggest the best team setup.
So it's like building the dream team.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
And it can go further. Create personalized training programs for employees, figure out where they could improve, suggest learning resources.
So it's not just about the machines running smoothly. It's about helping the people reach their full potential. I like that.
And that brings up a bigger point about the future of factories. As AI like ChatGPT becomes more common, it's going to change the types of jobs that are out there.
Yeah, I can see that. Some jobs will go away, but new ones will be created. It's like a new industrial revolution.
And just like those past revolutions, there'll be challenges. But I think we need to be excited and thoughtful at the same time. Think about how to prepare people for these changes. Make sure the benefits are shared. Use this technology to create a future that's good for everyone.
Yeah, that's really important. It's easy to just focus on how cool the technology is, but we have to think about the bigger picture too.
Absolutely. And speaking of the bigger picture, Steves Jr. ends the post with a really thought-provoking question.
Ooh, okay, I'm intrigued.
He asks, how might ChatGPT's capabilities further transform industrial production and candy, the roles of human workers in the years to come?
That's a big one. It's like he's asking us to imagine the next chapter.
Yeah. And we don't have all the answers, but the key is to stay curious, to keep learning, and to keep talking about these things.
I agree. Well, Steve's Jr. has given us a lot to think about. I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive. Any last thoughts? Hashtag TTS, the deep dive episode 2024-1031, part 3 of 3. Wow, we've really gone deep on this one. ChatGPT predicting demand, optimizing the lines, even helping manage the teams. It's like everywhere in the factory now.
It really is amazing how fast it's all changing. And Steve Jr. makes a good point about how ChatGPT is making these tools available to everyone.
What do you mean?
Well, before, if you want to do all this fancy stuff like, predict demand or really optimize your production, only the big companies could afford it.
Right. They had the money to hire all those experts.
Exactly. Teams of data scientists and analysts, all that. But ChatGPT, it's like leveling the playing field.
So now even a small company can have that kind of expertise.
Yeah, it's like having a whole team of experts, but without the huge cost.
Okay, that makes sense. And it's not just about saving money, right?
No, it's about giving everyone a chance to compete, to make better decisions, better products.
I see. So good for businesses. But what about the workers? I mean, a lot of this sounds like automation. Some people might be worried about losing their jobs.
That's a fair point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something we need to be really careful about as a society. But I think it's important to remember, every time there's new technology, the job market changes.
Okay, so jobs change, but they don't necessarily disappear.
Right. Some jobs might go away, but new ones will be created. It's happened throughout history.
So it's more like adapting, learning new skills.
Exactly. And think about it. If ChatGPT can take care of those boring, repetitive tasks, the things nobody actually likes to do anyway,
Yeah.
that frees us up to focus on the more interesting stuff, the things humans are good at.
So it's more like working with the machines, not against them.
That's the idea.
Mm-hmm.
Aziz Jr. talks about finding that balance, where human skills and AI, they work together.
I like that. So ChatGPT, it's going to keep changing things in factories. What are some of the big things we should keep in mind?
I think the most important thing is to never stop learning. The skills you need today, they might be different tomorrow. So stay curious. Be ready to adapt. Be ready to learn new things.
That's good advice no matter what you do.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And another thing we have to remember, technology, AI, it's just a tool. It's up to us how we use it, what values we build into it, what kind of future we want to create.
Powerful stuff. It makes me think of that question that Steve's Jr. asked. How will ChatGPT change things, both for factories and for the workers, in the years to come?
Yeah, it's a big question. We don't have all the answers yet. But we have to keep asking it. As we keep exploring AI, we have to do it responsibly. Make sure it's used to help people, to make a better world.
Really well said. Well, I think that brings us to the end of our deep dive. We've looked at how ChatGPT can change factories, from predicting demand to optimizing production to managing the human teams. It's really amazing.
It's been fascinating.
It has. Big thanks to Steve Jr. for the inspiration for this deep dive. And to all of you listening, thanks for joining us. We hope you learned something new and maybe even got inspired to keep exploring this amazing world of technology. Until next time, keep those brains buzzing.